Welcome to full time after Fulham's 2-2 draw with Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. What a match. Fulham in the lead for most of the game. Arsenal peg us back with 2 goals. Then we go down to 10 men. And then João Palhinha with an 87th minute equaliser. Adama Traore could have won it at the end for maybe the ultimate away day. But Dan, let's forget that Traore nearly won it. It was still absolutely magic.
It's unbelievable. And there was a moment when we were 1-0 up where I was thinking it makes up for everything that happened last week to see the players put that heart and energy into it. And even at 2-1, to be honest, there was still quite a lot of pride, I think, in that away end. And then to come out of nowhere after going down to 10 men to level it is just unbelievable. And as you said, I think Fulham surprise you in ways that you never expect them to. They can let you down like last week, and then just out of nowhere, when you think the game's gone, you're down to 10 men away. The team finished second last year. João pops up from a corner on the volley and tucks it home. Unreal.
I mean, it was just generally an amazing game. If you were a neutral and you just happened to get a ticket today for Arsenal Fulham, you'd have been so entertained. And what a start, 40 seconds. I mean, I hadn't realised it at the time in the ground, but an awful error from Saka, but just a really weird goal. I watched it in the ground, I was like, how has that happened? Why is Aaron Ramsdale so far off his line? But we just completely caught them cold.
Yeah, I felt for the guys behind me. There was about 6 guys behind me who turned up 2 minutes in and had missed it. Hang on, we're a goal up. But yeah, it was weird. It came out of nowhere. It was obviously, as you said, a mistake by Saka. And credit to Andreas Pereira, he was alive to it. And I think it's a really smart finish. And Ramsdale backtracking, I think a player with less confidence might have carried that ball further and tried to get closer to goal, but he was really alive to the situation. He was alert and he took it early, and that made the difference because Ramsdale was wrong-footed and he could do nothing.
And then it was just this onslaught for the first half. It was the slowest 45 minutes of all time. Fulham somehow held on, but I'm not even 100% sure at times. Saka just missed this header from a yard out. I haven't seen the XG, but it must have been off the charts. It felt like an absolute bombardment. And to go 1-0 up at the break was just incredible.
Yeah, we did really well to hang on. I was worried that as it ticked over into the 40th minute and on, that's the last time you want to concede, is when you've got yourself ahead and you're clinging on. You just want to get to half-time, and they deserve a lot of credit for how we defended. Yes, Arsenal had chances, but you're never going to keep a top 6 club to no chances. It's going to happen, and you just got to hope that either Leno, and again he was brilliant, but you've got to hope that he pulls off some saves, and then you've got to hope that they're a little bit profligate in front of goal, and with the Saka chance and a few others, they were. But by and large, I thought we defended really well. And as we were saying on the walk here, Kenny Tete was brilliant, and then he's absolutely leathered someone, Fabio Vieira, in the box. And I think that's how it goes, isn't it? It's such a tough, the way that Arsenal play when they get 3 men out wide. You've got the right winger, the right back, and the central midfielder all drift out to the right flank, and the same on the left. It's really tough as a fullback that you've got to be against 3 opposition players. And Kenny did brilliantly for 99 minutes of the game, and he had a 30-second moment where it just went wrong, and that's going to happen, but he was still brilliant.
The most blatant penalty that anyone has ever seen. I mean, I've rarely seen football players argue a penalty less in my life.
Yeah, Kenny Tete just started walking towards the edge of the box. He just sort of looked up and was like, yeah, fine. But then they checked it for offside and everyone got a bit excited, but it was the shortest VAR check in the world. Yeah. It's not offside.
And I mean, the second goal that Arsenal scored was weird. I hadn't actually seen, again, live in the ground. It was right at the other end that Bassey was just on the floor. See Silva apoplectic, and the players kind of questioning why that was allowed to continue. I mean, I need to watch it back again properly, but obviously play can continue despite someone being down. But you can see why Fulham are annoyed. We got caught in a moment there. It felt a bit like United last season, where just quick fire goals. I think maybe that is one thing that Fulham do seem to have a bit of a weakness in, is okay, we hold out, we concede one, then often, or maybe a few times at least, we then concede a second. We need to kind of find some composure, because we were still in a good position there at 1-1.
Yeah, I think sometimes we've been really good at capitalising on momentum, and we saw it last season where we'd get quick fire goals, but on the flip side, I think at times we can let the emotion of the game sort of wash over us, and we can lose our concentration, and we did for that goal. And personally, I think if you've got a player down in the 6-yard box, even if it's not a head injury, you've got to blow the whistle as a referee, because what he did and is play everyone onside. So at that point, no Arsenal player can be offside because we've got a player injured in our 6-yard box and legitimately injured as well. Like, he was down for a while. And so I think as a referee to miss that is poor. And I don't know what the laws say in that situation, but I think common sense has to prevail in those moments where you can't have a player down on the floor.
But the rule is that you're allowed to keep on playing. So, I mean, it's a bit of a grey area. What if he was lying in the goal mouth? Like, at what point do they stop? But then again, like, Fulham probably did want to take the sting out of the game at that point, and they could argue that's what Bassey was trying to do, but I don't think actually he was.
No, and I think you've got to. It's always hypotheticals, but you ask the reverse question of if William Saliba's lying in his 6-yard box in the exact flip opposite, situation. I think the referee stops play. You get the pressure of the home crowd on top of you, pointing at the fact that there's a player down, and the referee will probably stop play. But it's the opposite when you're away from home, because it's most of the home fans are shouting at Calvin Bassey to get up and urging the team to push on, and I think it just gets overlooked. And Silva was fuming, and probably, I think rightly so. There's nothing that the referee has done wrong as per the laws of the game. It just feels like one that's a bit unfair.
Yeah. But Fulham, we went 2-1 down, and actually I was like expecting 3-1, 4-1, 5-1. And we actually really came into the game. We made a few openings, if not chances. Like, Bobby Reid had quite a few balls that came over the diagonal, and he did well with them. We had a couple of nice openings, but it looked like when Calvin Bassey has sent himself sent off, we're 2-1 down at the team that are wannabe champions, that it's over. I mean, it's a stonewall second yellow. What's annoying, I think, is the yellow card that he picked up for time wasting, like the 46th minute, which, I mean, they're just so hot on it at the moment. I don't think you can get away with that kind of antics that you did last year.
No, and it wouldn't have been a yellow card last year, and it felt harsh because he hadn't taken that long over it. Fulham have got this situation here when we did it at Everton away as well, when Bernd Leno looks to take a goal kick, and if we're getting pressed high, he hands it over to the left centre-back to roll it to him. And I think it was like the yellow card that Tomiyasu got last week for Arsenal, where it wasn't necessarily for the time that Bassey was wasting himself, but just accumulation of Fulham taking a lot of time over a goal kick. And I don't think we can complain about it because they've made a clear point that they're going to start booking players for time wasting. And it's, at that point he knows he's on a yellow card. And the second one you can't complain about at all. And unlike last week where Tim Ream, I think, had 2 yellow cards that weren't yellow cards, both of Bassey's were within the law, absolutely.
And the annoying thing is that Issa Diop was going to get to that.
Yeah, I think that's where Calvin Bassey panicked. He had Nketiah running towards him, and he didn't know whether to go or to stay, and in the end he did neither. And actually, if he'd taken a moment, Issa Diop was on the cover and actually read the situation really well. But I think Bassey just panicked in that moment. And it's tough because I thought they played well together in general. I thought they had a really good game.
But on came Adama Traore. The man mounted himself, the baby oil, he rolled up his sleeves, and the Arsenal defence shat themselves. Yeah. And the corner, yes, Polina does amazing, but it's Traore that wins it out of nothing. At that point, we're 2-1 down, it's 10 men. Fulham are holding on, if anything, and he wins us this innocuous corner. And that's the best you can hope for with 10 men, especially at a ground like the Emirates, is just to get a set piece. And so, yes, Traore will get a bit of stick because he missed that chance. He did so well with it. But actually, he saved us a point today because I don't think anyone else other than Adama Traore could have won us a corner like that in that situation. And then it's just down to chance.
Yeah, I think that's what the benefit of bringing him on is the reputation as well that precedes him, is that as soon as you bring on Adama Traore, the defence know what's coming. They know that they're going to have someone who is lightning quick, who's going to chase everything down. I mean, he's the sort of player that you can hear coming at you as well. I bet you can hear him charging you down. It must be terrifying. It's like loud footsteps, like grunting after you. And he charged down Zinchenko, made it really difficult for him, and he did brilliantly to win the corner. And then, what was it you got told as the corner was about to be taken by Harrison Reed?
I will give credit to Kurt if you're watching. Kurt, it was good to see him. He's an old colleague of mine who actually was sat next to me, and he literally went, Fulham don't score from corners. And in comes this corner, and then just João Polina out of nowhere just rolls it into the corner. Bedlam.
Unbelievable. That was up there with some of the best moments in an away game, I think. Just because it's one of those where you just resign to defeat at that point and you think that's it, and you get that little bit of hope from a corner, and you see Harrison Reed standing over it, as we said, and we're like, it's not quite as exciting as Andreas Pereira or William when Harrison Reed's standing over it, but he puts it into an area and João does brilliantly. I don't actually think it's a good corner. I think just João reacts really well, and then to watch him running towards the corner flag, a la Nottingham Forest away, just pumping the Fulham badges, I will never tire of seeing that. And he deserves so much credit and love from the fans because, again, he could have gone this summer. He's one of those that could have been out the door. And watching things crumble a little bit around the club in summer, it would have been very easy for him to have just knocked on Marco Silva's door and said, I'm out of here, there's plenty of interest. But he's stuck at it, and obviously there's a few days left and fingers crossed he stays. But the passion and the commitment to that shirt from Joao has never been less than 100%. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Bayern Munich, you've got Harry Kane. Sod off. And then injury time, 9 minutes of it, 10 minutes of it in the end. Obviously, Adama Traore came close. I mean, Arsenal just pounded at the door. But I think Fulham did well. I think Tosin came on and won a couple of important headers. Thought Issa Diop was brilliant in those moments. There was a few shaky moments, but actually I thought that Fulham really sorted out well. And with 10 men, it's so impressive.
Yeah, and I think we've got to give a lot of credit to Issa Diop. I think as fans, rightly, we were very quick to jump on him last week. It was a terrible mistake against one of your biggest rivals, and he got a lot of criticism, and rightly so. But to then stand up and put in the performance he did today, where he was really a mountain at the back, he won headers towards the end of the game when we were getting bombarded, and he was just a calm presence, apart from when he sliced it straight up in the air in his own box. But
he dealt with it.
He dealt with it. He had then headed it away himself, so he cleared up after his own mess. But he deserves a lot of credit because, as I said, I think we're quick to criticise, but we've got to be quick to praise in this situation as well.
And just exactly where would your soul floated to? Had Adama Traore stuck that in at the end?
Oh, I was away. I was climbing over the bloke in front of me. He's done so well, Sammy. He's done so well. To have got forward, to got into that position. Every touch he took was perfect. The first touch gave him enough room to run clean onto it at full pace without having to dribble with the ball, which got him away from Saliba. He then draws Saliba in and then just beats him. And then I thought when he went to dink it, he got it perfect. I thought that was the perfect way to try and finish that chance. I think we haven't seen the replay back because it's inexplicably not on the highlights reel from Sky Sports. But I think it hits Ramsdale in the face, and that's probably just unlucky at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was amazingly done by Traore. He made it himself. No other player almost in world football probably could have made it. World football's a bit strong, but, there's not many players that could do that. And what a difference I think he's going to make this season. Maybe it's just as a super sub. I don't think that's fully fair to call him a super sub, but yeah, he brings us some real excitement in a week where we need some excitement. And what a game for Fulham. And also just to finish off, it's been a week where we've a lot of soul searching. Mitro went, we lost to Brentford. It was really, really horrible. And a lot of people thought it was going to be 4 or 5-0 today. And I do understand why they thought that. I'm not here to say I told you so or anything like that. But what I want to say is it was hugely significant, I think, to pick up a point today and just show the fan base this is a good team. This is a team that it might not pull up huge amount of trees this season, but get it in a bit of perspective, we still got a very, very good team on this pitch. There are still 11 incredible players out there.
Yeah, and a fantastic manager who's really good at breaking us out of moments. And last season it was breaking us out of poor runs where you hit a game and you're like, oh, we really need something from this because we're in a bad run of form, things are looking bad. And Marco always manages to draw the players out of that, and he did it in the Championship season as well. And although we weren't in a bad run at the moment, as you said, the atmosphere around the club was a bit sour. It turned bad over just what has been a long summer of things feeling like they're always going wrong. And that was a really gutsy and big performance. And actually, after the people who have looked at us over the first 2 weeks and said that Fulham looked pretty rubbish and we were in trouble, yes, we beat Everton, but we were poor and we got dispatched by Brentford. That's a big statement to go to the Emirates to get a point against, the wannabe champions, the team who will be most likely finish second this year again.
Yeah.
To get a point there is a real good shift, and I'm delighted. And as with City up next, it could have been very easily 3 losses in a row, but to break that up with a point like that when we were against the odds and we were really up against the wall, it will give us a lot of momentum going forward, I think.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching today. Thanks for Santi behind the camera for doing a fantastic job. He's got a sore arm after the best part of 15 minutes here. Loads more coming up on the channel this week. Make sure you subscribe. It's going to be a Follow Fulham Away vlog with Stephen Sheldrake, and also a transfer deadline day live stream later in the week. Thanks for watching. Come on, you Whites.